The now 13-1 Chiefs take care of business on Sunday, but more business to tend to here throughout the week. Patrick Mahomes gets rolled up on both of those ankles underneath him. Gimpy off the field, would get both his right and left ankle spatted following that injury. Looks to be having a conversation with offensive coordinator Matt Nagy there, trying to maybe talk his way back into the ballgame. We would not see Mahomes after that injury. It was Carson Wentz, maybe out of precaution, maybe cause for concern, but 13-1 and the largest margin of victory this season for those close call Chiefs, who finally get one by 14. Back with the Mac. B-Mac, what'd you see there? Patrick Mahomes, obviously an injury that's lingered with him throughout his career, those ankles, and we've seen him talk his way back onto the football field, so many times before. Looked like he was trying to do the same there, but a point of precaution, or did you see something more than that?
I think it's more about, being cautious with these injuries, because to your point, he's been dealing with ankle injuries, it seems like almost every year to some point. And in that ball game, especially in the second half, the pocket wasn't comfortable for him. The Cleveland Browns, of course, when you look at the issues for Kansas City on the offensive line, those issues arise in the second half. So do you really want to put your quarterback in harm's way when you look at the clock situation and knowing the lead that you currently had? It didn't make sense, and I was okay in not seeing him come back into the lineup. You talked about Carson Wentz relieving Pat Mahomes, but now this is about moving forward. Because yes, they're sitting on top of the entire AFC, but you still have some teams on the outside looking in that would love to make things extremely close in terms of the top seed in the AFC. And they also have some very, very highlighted matchups coming forward outside of what they did today against the Cleveland Browns.
I know you got your eye on that Christmas Day matchup with Pittsburgh. Mac's going to be in the building for that one. Back in the here and now. A +6 turnover margin. When you're playing Jameis Winston, you're probably going to end up on the right side of it, but +6 is something. To only win by 14 points on a +6, does that give you concern? I guess it's all how we want to frame the Chiefs this season. Does that framing bother you at all?
Well, the issue for the Chiefs, I think, that we've watched with them over the last 3 or 4 weeks, the inability to play for 4 quarters. Because look at how they started the game. I mean, offensively, Pat Mahomes was throwing it around the yard. They were very, very efficient in the red zone. They scored a point in every quarter, a touchdown in every quarter except the fourth. I mean, they went into the third quarter, well, midway through the third quarter, 21 points. You didn't see anything in the fourth quarter. There lies the issue, because when you're playing against a competitive team, unlike in what you saw against the Browns, you're going to have to play for 4 quarters. Now, to your point, Joe, this was one of their best defensive efforts that we've seen in the second half of the season. 5 sacks, 6 total turnovers.
It was one long run.
4 interceptions, 2 fumbles. To your point, one long was a run on a screen play by Ford. Outside of that, their defense was lights out. This was a defense that we saw today in Cleveland. This is what we watched last year. The defensive unit that kind of got them going in the playoffs, and they rode that wave for another sticky Lombardi. So me personally, this was an outstanding performance from the defense. I would like to see a 4-quarter game coming from their offense, but this was a bright spot, and you look at how they performed offensively in the first 3 quarters of this matchup.
Do you feel like they found something offensively, at least in that first half? I know not the comprehensive effort across 60 minutes, but looked like Xavier Worthy was a little bit more involved. Travis Kelce still held in check again on this day, 4 for 27. What are the aspects of the offense that you see growing?
Rhythm-like throws, getting other guys involved. Xavier Worthy, he was a heavily targeted player. This offense game plan-wise was orchestrated around Xavier Worthy. I love that. And another unheralded player for them in today's matchup, Juju Smith-Schuster. Right, I understand athletically he might not be the prime athlete that he once was early on in his career, but he still is a reliable pass catcher. He's still a guy that can move the chains for you, especially in critical third down situations. So those 2 players, me personally, they're overly important in terms of the offensive success, because D-Hop is going to be there. You talked about pedestrian-like numbers from Travis Kelce. We know he is a guy you can count on, but if you can get production from a guy like Xavier Worthy and a Juju Smith-Schuster, there lies the opportunity to be a lot better than what we've seen offensively in weeks past from the Chiefs.
All right, so wheels starting to turn in the right direction. When you look at the record,
it's about that time. This is about that time, right?
None better than the Kansas City Chiefs. Last year, I know we bring it up all the time, it was that loss on Christmas Day that was the last loss until one we saw just about a month ago. The Chiefs finding their stride, perhaps here on a Sunday, a 2-touchdown win over the Cleveland Browns.